Clement with Kathy by Design, and I'm glad to have you here with me today. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm sharing with you a really fun project. This is made for the Frilly and Funky Design team, and it's for our Put On Your Inking Cap challenge, which basically you could not use any patterned paper on the front of whatever you were doing. On the inside you could do whatever, but on the front it had to be all ink, paint, mixed media, fabric, whatever you wanted to use. And we decided as a team that it would be really fun, since Eileen Hull very generously donated to us each a set of her beautiful heartfelt journals. And these are made in the Midori Style, which is a traditional Japanese travel journal. If you go to Pinterest or Google and look for that, you'll have hours of entertainment. So basically the journal comes like this. It measures 8 3/4 by 4 1/2. And you're going to get these, you cut out mat board. This is mat board, which is really wonderfully heavy. Takes to mixed media really well. I put mine through loads of abuse and it handled it all very well. Everything is pre-scored, so you just bend along the score lines, just like this. And then you lay your journal down and you line up these middle brackets, the little hole. It comes with the holes punched and everything. It couldn't be any simpler. So you just line this up, and then there's your spine. I used score tape to glue mine in place. And then you use elastic string. I mean, you can use whatever you want. I used elastic string, and I'll show you why. It also comes with really clear directions for assembly. The Eileen Hull Heartfelt Journal by Sizzix. And then you also get, this is really fun, I ended up not using these, but I'm going to make another one, and I think these would be fun to use. Little tabs for turning pages, and then this is a little clasp that will hold the journal shut. And then also there's this wonderful plaque that you can put on the front for your title if you choose. So I chose to do mine. I kind of went with a joy theme. I wanted a place to write down happy thoughts. I love to collect quotations from books and the internet. I never have a place to write them down. Things that my granddaughters say, things that my husband and I say to each other. And I wanted to kind of create a spot where I could put all these joyful thoughts and collect them. And so I used Tammy Tutterow's Happy Grams stamps. This is one of them on the front cover. And I colored this with watercolor pencils, and then just added some splatters and some inks. I have this beautiful frame. I'm going to hold this up so you can get a close-up. This is from Southern Ridge Trading Company, and it's an ornate frame from them, but I painted this first with picket fence distress ink and then covered it completely with Emerald Creek fractured ice embossing powder, and then heat set it. And I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but oh my goodness, in real life it's just stunning. I used a Tim Holtz mini stencil to create kind of a wood grain panel to sit back behind my title. I did stamp this twice, and on the second one I fussy cut out the flowers on the Happy Grams stamp. And then these are Tammy's frayed posies, and I cut these out of Tim Holtz Eclectic Elements fabric and dyed them with Distress Oxide ink and wilted violet. Same with the seam binding. I used wilted violet and the green one that I can't remember the name of, but it'll come to me. So then on the cover, I really experimented. Mixed media is one of those areas that I'm exploring and learning and growing in. So I started out doing a Distress Oxide cover, and I wasn't happy with the way that turned out. So then I added some embossing powders, and I still wasn't happy with the way that turned out. So then I thought, well, I'll just start fresh, and I put down a layer of this crackle paste that I have in my stash. And lo and behold, as I was heat setting it, The wonderful thing is the Distress Oxides that I had put on the base layer began to bleed through the texture paste. And also, I don't know if you can see this, the embossing powders, which created this really cool metallic effect with all these little like bubbly nubbins of texture coming through. So that was really fun. And then I took some Kaisercraft wooden leaves and berries, painted those with Distress Oxides, added those at the base of the frame, a Prima resin butterfly, just a bunch of random seed beads that I had in my stash, and then this is Wendy Vecchi's brick wall mat board pieces, and I treated these with gold, Prima gold crackle paste, and then I smooshed in, when it was dry, some Distress Oxide walnut stain. So there's loads of texture, loads of color, loads of dimension on the cover. I just really love the way the cover turned out. On the spine, you bind through these holes, pre-punched holes, using elastic. And this is the kind of elastic I had in my stash that you use for packages. And I just strung some beads on here as I was going. And instead of using the plaque, I wrapped the elastic around the back. Oh yeah, here's another thing you can do. I forgot. I ran this mat board through with a Sizzix Tim Holtz embossing folder. Can you see that? Isn't that fun? And then I treated it with Distress Oxides. And it's just lovely and soft. And I did, I will go over this with some matte multimedia just to protect it from moisture. But anyway, so I wrapped the loop around, put a little brad here, and that's what holds this little joy journal closed. And then we'll just take a look inside. These are so fun to make. And you can see I also did the embossing on the inside here. The fun thing about these is that nothing is permanent unless you want it to be. I created little books inside just by folding paper, and then I ran it through this elastic binding. So you can see I've got like little tags in here. I've got little bits of scrap paper. A lot of these papers are from Canvas Core. They're from their Gypsy Moments line. File folders, little sayings, just kind of inspire me. Then I've got some really nice parchment paper where I'll use my handwriting to write down things that I want to keep. But then I also wanted like some junky paper in there that I could just doodle, or sometimes when I'm trying to come up with ideas for my design teams, I'll sit and sketch things out or run through a bunch of ideas. So, but see, the cool thing is, I'll just show you, you can remove this sheet from the journal just like that. So it's really cool. You can change out a whole section, you can change out a page, and because it's elastic, it makes it very fluid. So it's great for creative people, because if you change your mind, you can just pull it out, and or if you want to put something new in, you can put something new in. So that's what I love about this. So we'll go back to the front. I created 3 sections in my journal because I had holes enough for 3 elastic bands. I created little pockets to tuck, you know, I'm weird. I'll see a picture in a magazine that inspires me, like a color palette for a design team project. I want a place to stash that. So I've got pockets all through here for things like that. Sometimes I'll save a receipt. I don't know. I just tear stuff out and keep it. Now I have a place to put it. So this is another one of Tammy's Happygram stamps. It says, how about a big dose of happy to brighten your day? And I just colored this with colored pencils, and then I just splattered, used the water brush and splattered the color onto the back, and then stitched it with my crazy stitching. These papers that I've used in here, the designer papers, they're old. Some of this goes all the way back to like basic gray porcelain, which is what, like 6 or 7 years ago. But I love the colors, and so I use them. Again, another little pocket, another little saying. Here's a pretty piece of designer paper. I've got a lot of little places to tuck things, lots of room to write things out. This is where I'll put like inspirational sayings or things that the grandkids said, or every once in a while I actually have kind of an awesome thought myself and I'll write it down. And then in the center of each of these little signatures, I put a file folder. And then this is just scrap paper because I like to have a place. I like scrap paper. I like to write things down and then not have to feel like I'm committed to it for forever. I folded some of these so they fold down. You can tuck things in there. So as you can see, you can really make these whatever you want them to be. They're going to serve you in whatever way you want them to. So that's, each signature is pretty much the same. I have some, here's some more fun little file folders. This little guy, I put a hinge on the back, and I just cut a strip of scrap paper, folded it in half, and hinged it. So now see, the little envelope can be opened, and I can tuck, I don't know, tickets or shark's teeth, souvenirs, I don't know, whatever. The thing I like about these not so expensive papers in here, this is just printer paper, but I'm trying to learn how to sketch and draw and do creative lettering and stuff. And if I have some pages like this and I mess up, I can tear it out and it doesn't, nothing is hurt. So I hope that makes sense to you. Anyway, now we'll just look through, enough of my blathering. Here's another signature. This is another Tammy Tutterow, Happy Grams, Crazy Stitching, pockets, pretty papers, file folder in the center with another mini file folder. It's just fun. You can put menus in here, you can put graduation programs in here, you can put, if you were planning a wedding, this would be an awesome thing to use for a wedding planner. But this is just kind of a place for me, sort of a journal for my thoughts, quotes. Here's another Tammy stamp, Joy looks good on you. Another file folder, pockets, I love pockets, side pocket, file folder, just really interactive and kind of free to sort of jumpstart my creativity. I thought this would be a good creative type journal. I like this saying, creative people are curious, flexible, sometimes I'm more flexible than others, persistent, and independent with a tremendous spirit of adventure. And I think that's pretty true, with the exception of the flexible thing. I'm not always as flexible as I wish I was. So you can see, just fun, very free, very creative. You could be real orderly with this if you wanted to. I might do another one that's more like a planner and has a plan, but this was just a creative one. So I hope that gives you some ideas for how to use these fantastic journals. Super quick to put together. You can use fabric on them, you can use paint, you can use mixed media, you can use designer paper, you can use newspaper, do whatever you want. It's just kind of a way for you to express yourself and create a book that is unique to you. So thanks for joining me. I hope you found some inspiration here today. If so, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below, and go get your craft on.